mobster actors of all time. Sonny Corleone and The Godfather, of course. He was in Misery. Some of you around my age may know him from Elf. So, just an amazing actor, and sad news today, hearing that he had passed away. But to get on with the review, today I went and saw Thor, Love and Thunder. As with all my reviews, movie, TV, whatever reviews, this is not spoiler-free. There's going to be spoilers, just stream of consciousness type reviews. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled, come back after you've seen the movie. If you've already seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, welcome to my ASMR review. If you saw my Doctor Strange review, you'll know that I had a lot of issues with that film. And I said something about how I felt like the movies were sort of directionless right now. Somebody in the comments pointed out Secret Wars being set up. And okay, I'll accept that. We do have the Skrulls running around. We know something like that is coming. Okay, fair. But this movie, to me, felt like it did not really set anything up for anything. This felt like a pure filler movie. And especially with the runtime, this is one of the shortest Marvel films in a while. It was like under 2 hours, I think, and it felt like it. I think a lot of the issues I had with this film would have been mitigated if we maybe got an extra half an hour or so of this movie. It just felt so rushed and weirdly timed. And I had a lot of issues with this movie. There were things I liked. Christian Bale. Christian Bale's like my favorite actor working right now, one of my favorite actors of all time. I love Christian Bale. I love most movies that he does, and I thought Christian Bale was phenomenal in this movie as Gore the God Butcher. Every time he was on screen, he had a very commanding presence. He was scary, especially that scene where he's talking to the children in the cage. He had a very scary, almost snake-like sort of attitude. He was very, he was just very intimidating. I really enjoyed Christian Bale's performance in this movie, and one of my biggest issues with this film is how little screen time Gore the God Butcher had. Especially because we only saw him kill one god. We saw him kill, I don't know the god's name, but the one he was praying to in the beginning of the film. The opening of the film was amazing, by the way. Gore in the desert with his dying daughter. Very good. It was beautifully shot, and you felt the emotional weight of that scene in those moments. And then when he met his god, and you saw the way his god acted towards him, you felt the emotional weight of that moment, and you understood his character motivations. I thought all of that was fantastic. But that was like the best part of the movie. It just kind of went downhill for me. The scenes with Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy, like while humorous, kind of felt unnecessary. Especially because the Guardians were completely out of the movie by the end of the first 10 minutes. So, you brought these guys in for like 10 minutes, then they were out. They didn't really do much, and it was mainly him talking to Star-Lord. And, I don't know, I felt like you could have really gone past all the Guardian stuff, or put that in, like, the quick little recaps that Korg kept doing. Because Korg, they had 3 moments, I believe, where Korg was narrating. Which I felt like there was too much Korg in this movie for me. There's too much comedy in general in this movie, especially because in the comics, the Gore the God Butcher storyline is like one of the darkest Marvel storylines and has some absolutely like beautiful, terrifying, haunting imagery. Let's see if I can find. Might be able to bring one of these up. Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to find like a whole panel. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really find that many panels at the moment of Gore the God Butcher. Like just doing a quick Google image search. But there were some absolutely terrifying moments that I would have liked to have seen more of those dark, scary moments of Gore in this film. Because like I said, you only see him kill that god in the beginning. And it's like, as he's being chosen, it's just like a lucky stab. You don't see him rampaging through and killing gods. Like there was the moment where they decide to go to Omnipotent City, I believe that's what it's called, because they want to talk to Zeus. And by the way, I loved Russell Crowe as Zeus. I thought he did a good job, and it seems like he might be coming back with Hercules in the next one. I don't know, we'll see, but I did like Russell Crowe as Zeus as well. I was surprised he could do his voice like that, to be honest. I'm used to hearing Russell Crowe being very Scottish. But I thought what would have been a better way to have that scene go down is if they got to Omnipotent City and Gore had killed all of them. Zeus was dead, all of them were dead, just like laying, cut in half, bloody, decapitated. And that is how Thor gets the thunderbolt from Zeus. I think that would have been better than what we got, which was kind of played up comedically a bit. And then they just, in a room full of gods, go and attack the guards and throw thunderbolt, put a giant hole in Zeus's chest, and nobody does anything about it. Nobody does anything about it. A room full of gods, the most powerful beings in the universe, right? These powerful beings, they control elements, they control reality, and they're sitting there doing nothing. Nothing. I think it would have been better if Gore the God Butcher had gone in there and butchered them all up. And that's what Thor walked in on. Just my opinion. Because, like, I don't know, Christian Bale just sort of felt wasted in this film, and he had a really good performance, but he was on the screen for maybe 15-20 minutes total of a short, less than 2-hour runtime film. And I just felt like he deserved better, and the character deserved better, and you have like such an interesting, dark, scary character, and you don't see him be interesting, dark, and scary. I wanted a lot more violence and brutality and gore out of Gore the God Butcher. Hemsworth was fine. Yeah, it's gotten to the point where, you know, Thor's kind of being played for laughs a little bit because Thor 1 and 2 were such a disaster. And I love Ragnarok. Ragnarok is one of my favorite Marvel films. That's like in my top 3. But this felt like it was too much. Like there should have been somebody telling Taika Waititi no. Because it just felt like there was maybe too much comedy, too much gore, not enough of the like dark, scary, emotional moments. Now, Jane Foster having cancer, I quite liked that, and her story arc, that was good for me. That was a very emotional, strong story arc. Her dealing with her mortality, doing everything that she can to, try and survive, which is a very human, relatable storyline. And then ultimately making the decision at the end to go and sacrifice herself, knowing that she is going to die. universe. Nobody's ever been there before. Nobody's ever found it. Gore finds it. Okay, that's fine. I can accept that he found it. He's been looking for it. Thor just shows up there. He now knows how to get there without ever looking for it before, being there before. He just gets there. And then Jane Foster just gets there. I don't know. And the final battle of this movie. I know this, like, I'm probably gonna get hate comments about my opinion on this movie. That's fine. The final battle of this movie, there's all the kids, and Thor has them grab, like, sticks and, like, just whatever random weapons. One little girl has a bunny, a stuffed bunny, and Thor does this thing where he's like, now you all temporarily have the power of Thor, and, like, gives them all electrical powers as they go and fight for the 1000th time in an MCU film a horde of faceless monsters that look like giant dogs, just like Thanos had, right? Like, can we stop? Can we stop with our bad guys creating these giant dog monsters? Please, for the love of God, stop having battles where we have a big group of people fighting a big group of CGI monsters. It is not compelling. It is not dramatic. We know they're going to win because they're CGI monsters that don't look like anything. Like, can we just do something different, please? For our big bad guys. Like, remember when Hela just shot out swords and killed everyone herself? Could we maybe have something like that? Or even like Gore the God Butcher. He had those tentacles that he had them all wrapped up in, and those tentacles were way more effective than his stupid little monsters that he summoned. So Gore should have just kept summoning tentacles and wrapping people up in the tentacles, because he was doing way better with those than he was with the monsters. But the moment, like, you have this climactic battle, Thor versus Gore, it's supposed to be this heavy moment, and if you look at the comic panel, it is this insane moment. I'll actually pull this one up. This is a pretty famous comic panel here. Let me that's a very small image. Okay, I'll pull this up. Let's full screen this, and then I'm going to switch this over to my face and display. Let's pull this up. There, right? Like, that is a very famous image. That is Thor versus Gore. That is what this final battle should have looked like. But instead, we get a bunch of children being powered by the power of Thor, which is apparently a power that Thor has now. Which, it's like, why didn't you do this when everybody was fighting Thanos' army? Why didn't you do this, XYZ, the Battle of New York City, right? Is this something you've always been able to do, Thor? Where has this been? And you have a little girl holding a bunny, blasting shadow monsters, and it's like, this is a joke. This is a joke. Thor versus Gore himself actually was like, okay. He's like, Thor's starting to lose. Jane comes in and saves the day. That's all well and good. And I thought the ending, Gore using his one wish, which the whole Eternity One Wish thing, wish Thanos would have known about that, right? The whole Infinity Gauntlet doesn't look so powerful now, does it? Thanos could have just found the center of the universe and wished for half the people to be dead, and there's nothing anybody could have done about it. I don't know, man. Him using his wish to bring his daughter back, and his demeanor immediately changing, and like this hateful, spiteful monster who has been so, like, amazingly evil the whole film, like, not even in a bad way. Like, I loved how evil Gore was when he was talking to the children, and when he was talking to Thor, and taunting Valkyrie, and taunting Jane, and taunting Thor. He was amazing. He was so deliciously evil. And then he finally gets to make his wish and he brings his daughter back even though he's dying anyway. And then I think she's Eternity. Some people said she might be Captain Universe eventually, but she's with Thor at the end. They're running around fighting villains. I know that she's a character from the comics, that's fine. And then the post-credits scene, the first one, you see Zeus is still alive, and he's like telling Hercules, go find Thor and kill him, like reinstate the fear of the gods. Another problem I have with this movie, which is a problem Marvel's had for a while now, which is like all the fake out deaths. There's no consequences for anything. Nobody dies. Korg gets zapped by Zeus, and he's like disintegrating, but oh, his head is still there, so Korg's alive. Valkyrie gets stabbed by the Necro Sword, which can kill gods easily, but oh, she's just missing a kidney, but she's at the hospital, but she's fine. Like, can we actually have good guys die in these movies, please? Can we have good guys die? Just have some consequences, have some characters die, have some bad things happen to the good guys. Because it's getting to the point where there's no stakes when combat starts. You know they're gonna win. You know it. There's no stakes, no negative consequences. Like, okay, Jane is dead, but the cancer took her. Like, she was dying anyway. And, I mean, she gets into Valhalla at the end, which is fine, so she'll probably come back. Like, they have Jane in Valhalla, so they can find some, like, excuse to bring her back later if Natalie Portman agrees to do another movie. Like, you know that's why they have her go to Valhalla at the end. I don't know, man. I don't know. This movie just felt like filler, and I was so excited because I loved Ragnarok. I like Taika Waititi, but this just didn't feel like Ragnarok felt. I felt like I was just sitting there for 2 hours. Nothing of importance for the future of the MCU happened, and then the movie ended. And this movie, like, if you're gonna go through and watch every single Marvel film in order, let's say in 20 years when they're done making Marvel films, and you want to watch the story beginning to end, I feel like you could skip this movie and it would not have a negative impact on your ability to understand the overarching story of the MCU. And it feels like this, Doctor Strange 2, it's been back-to-back disappointing films for me. I really, really hope Black Panther 2 is good, but with Chadwick Boseman having passed, I have so many concerns how they're going to pull off Black Panther 2. Like, I really don't know what's going to happen with that movie, but I really need Black Panther 2 to be good, because this has been, like, for me, 2 stinkers in a row. And I don't know, Phase 4 in general kind of feels listless to me. I want us to bring in another big bad soon. Bring in Doctor Doom. Bring in Galactus. Bring in, what's his name? The character they teased, I believe, in Loki. I can't think right now, but like, we need to get a big bad guy that we're building towards, because right now it feels listless. Maybe Secret Wars happen. I desperately hope we get a Doctor Doom reveal. Maybe we'll get it in Black Panther 2. Like, Doctor Doom is financing some secretive country. I don't know. I'm nervous. There were parts I liked, like I said. Christian Bale stole the show. Natalie Portman, she was great in this. I loved the gag with giving the goats to Thor, because in Norse mythology, Thor does not fly using Mjolnir. Thor flies on a chariot pulled by 2 goats. And so you kind of got an allusion to that actual Norse mythology when their Nordic longboat was being pulled by the goats at the end, flying across the Rainbow Bridge. That's like very good callbacks to Norse mythology. I liked that. That was fun. But the pacing was weird. I felt like there was too much humor. It felt like the emotional, impactful moments were not allowed to breathe and linger and be heavy, impactful moments. I don't know. I know I've said a lot of bad things. I'd say maybe 6 out of 10. 6.5 tops, but 6 out of 10 for me. Thor, Love and Thunder, which sucks because I loved Ragnarok. Thor is one of my favorite Marvel heroes, and just I really wanted to like this movie, and the trailer made it look better than the actual movie was, in my opinion. So that's our review of Thor: Love and Thunder. Probably gonna get some flack for this, but if you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments down below what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I'd love to hear any and all comments and feedback on the movie and on this review. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single day. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.